Hello there! This is Music Man 0150, also known as Gary, and I'm back with another video, and what you're looking at is probably something that you may not find elsewhere, unless of course somebody has duplicated this design. What you're looking at is a homemade three-way speaker system shaped into a wedge. The way I got these is there's a local music store in Akron, which is about an hour away from where I live, and they had these enclosures. These were just empty enclosures when I bought them at the time, that they were selling real reasonable. So I bought two of them, which is all they had anyway. So I bought them as a pair, and as you can see, they're identical. Then what I did is I searched on the internet to a company called now MCM in One, and they have all kinds of electronic parts for audio and video and even computer products. Well, I looked under the audio section and I found some speakers that I thought would work really well with this enclosure. So as you can see, I have a 12-inch woofer, which is on the right side of the wedge, and then there's a 10-inch woofer on the left-hand side, which, by the way, is not being used as a woofer, but it's used as a mid-range, you might say. Now, a lot of you audio engineers out there are probably saying, why are you using a woofer as a mid-range? Well, the only way that I could accomplish what I wanted to accomplish with this enclosure is to get a three-way crossover. And so in order to accomplish the proper hookup that I thought would work was hook the 12-inch woofer to the low output of the crossover, and then hook the 10-inch woofer to the mid-range, and then of course this little square that you see, that's actually a tweeter. That's actually, I think, a 4x4 inch tweeter, and it's unfortunate now because the company where I bought these from, the tweeters and the woofers, well, they don't make the tweeters anymore. So if both of these go bad, then I have to find a substitute that's the right size to fit that enclosure. But so far they're holding up pretty well. And but that's why I had to make the hookup inside the way I did, using the 10-inch as a mid-range. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't sound bad at all. It really doesn't. In fact, the way it's working out is the 12-inch woofer is actually producing most of the bass, and then the 10-inch is producing some of the bass and basically the low part of the mid-range, and then the tweeter is taking care of the highs. So they do actually sound pretty well, and I will demonstrate them for you. But before I do that, I want to show you something else that I did as well. And that is, if you see there on the bottom, there's two jacks. Let me tilt this one up so that you can see. See right here, there's two jacks. I use one jack to go into the speaker itself, and as you can see, I have it labeled on here that says in, speaker in, with also a blue dot. And then this one is the out jack. Now, the only thing about using this jack, the reason I don't have it labeled is because for some odd reason I hooked it backwards. Because when I plug in another 1/4 inch cable to go from say the other wedge, the other speaker, to this one, that's okay. But if I go from this speaker to the other speaker, then it sounds out of phase. So that's why I'm not using this one as the master. I gotta take a day and figure out how to switch the connection. It's probably just a simple matter of changing the wiring around, because I think I have the ground and the positive backwards on the jack itself, because everything else is right. I did make sure that the hookups were right on the speakers and the crossover, so I think the connection is backwards in the jack itself, so I'll have to take care of that. But anyway, that's the physical description of the speakers. Oh, let me turn this back down so that the drivers are facing you. And come back for part 2 for a demonstration of the 3-way homemade wedged speakers.